Hello and welcome to the next part of Because We're Here. Last time the boys went off to war and Elfriede is now, yeah, doing her job as usual, waiting for mail to come home. And she also, for the first time, got some news about, basically, if I remember right, delivering mail on the battlefield, which is also a job women can do here. So, guess we'll see how Elfriede will decide to actually do that job. And by the way, it's way too hot in here. So please don't mind me if I drink a lot to not die. I run back to the post office, worried about what Miller's going to say. Every now and again, my mind wanders back to the handbill in my pocket and what it could mean for me. I mean, could I find my way to the trenches? Mrs. Miller, sorry I'm late. Miller leans against her desk, mug of coffee in hand. She greets me with a nod. She seems suspiciously unconcerned with my tardiness. Letters from the front. She points with her mug, indicating a giant sack in the middle of the room. Everything freezes. I'm floored. This is it. Time's doing that thing where it stands still, except obviously it doesn't. Again. It could be out for hours this time, maybe. Days. I don't want to say it. I stand there for 5 seconds? 10 seconds? A whole load of seconds anyway, in silence, rolling the question around in my tongue. Finally, it's time to set it free. Have you checked your desk? Check your desk. My head flicks in the direction of my desk with an owl-like vigilance. Atop it sits a dirty envelope with my address written in a very familiar scroll indeed. August! The idiot lives. Miller. Sorry, perhaps that was inappropriate. But I'm as relieved as you are. No, I am sorry. I'm just very worn out. Right, I'm going to read it. August was doing well. He wrote of the good spirits between the men, and his complaints were as petty as unsatisfactory portions at mealtime and the others borrowing his razor on occasion. But every story he started, he trailed off at what seemed like halfway. Why would he even include stories this mundane? I worried what there could be that he wasn't telling me. War wasn't a picnic, I knew that. But the amount of times that August, never exactly the master of subtlety, appeared to have concealed vital parts of certain stories made me really wonder. The location was confirmed to still be Windmill Corner anyway. They seemed to name sections of the trench based on nearby landmarks. I mean, this is just done unofficially by the men themselves, so that's presumably why the letter still has managed to reach me uncensored. Apparently, the 3 of them were now part of 8th Company, in the same regiment as before. I guess that means the rest of the fellows are too? In any case, the letter was postmarked last week, and Private Weil wrote of there being another fortnight or so on the front lines before being rotated out of for a respite. That information at least was good to have confirmed. All quiet? Yes. Nothing new to report, thankfully. That's good to hear. Now, come on. Help me sort the rest of this. Our people are keen for the news, as you were. Oh, of course. Mrs. Miller and I sit down and begin to sort the stack of letters. After half an hour spent making idle chatter about the minutiae of field communications, I decided to broach the topic that had been at the forefront of my mind ever since talking to Helmut earlier. Mrs. Miller, what do you know about field postmen? Field postmen? One of them gave us this sack earlier. They seem agreeable enough. Why do I ask? Oh, apparently they're being shuffled into the regular army. You don't say. What are they doing about the post? Well, they're recruiting women from the home front to work the No. I haven't decided one way or other, but it sounds like the perfect solution. Please consider it. Elfriede wears short stuff as it is. Incredibly so. And how am I supposed to deal with it if something goes wrong? Do you have any idea how morbid things would be here if we lost August? Every day would be torture. Imagine if we lost you as well. But I want to help. You want to keep an eye on the trenches, is what you want to do. Well, you can wait for letters from Vermeer like everybody else. But look, I know this is hard. Hoping every day is the day we get a letter. But it's not worth risking your own neck just to confirm the information you'll find out soon enough anyway. Just to reiterate, this is a quite absolute refusal of your request, Elfriede. We work in silence for a bit longer. After a couple of minutes, I realize I have a lump in my throat. I can't talk even if I want to. I'm fighting back tears. This is ridiculous. I didn't know I wanted this so much until Miller told me I wasn't able to. But I can't say she doesn't have a point. I just don't want to admit it to myself. If only there was a middle ground. If there was a middle ground, everything would be perfect. But I'm aware that war isn't really about middle grounds. By the way, I'm not here tomorrow. A few of us war workers are splitting a conductor's shift on the train over to Relbrook, and it is my turn. Obviously, we'll have to close while you run your route, but are you okay to do it as quickly as you can and handle things solo when you get back? Yeah. If it will help. Oh, it will. See, there's plenty you can do here, no need to risk life and limb. Yeah. After about an hour of increasingly stilted small talk, we finished sorting the post. I produced a letter that I've been keeping to one side and showed Miller the envelope. Oh, that's addressed to the distinguished Mr. Reinhold and penned in an unmistakably Swiss calligraphy. And there's even a drawing of a rose in the corner there, here. I see the one and only Prince of Boschberg has been keeping up with correspondence. My shift is nearly over, and I thought Mrs. Reinhold might appreciate getting this tonight rather than tomorrow. Yes, she's not doing too well these days, bless her. Go ahead, I'll close up when it's time. Oh, remember, I need you to take over tomorrow. Yeah, I remember. Don't worry. I can manage as a one-woman post office for the day. Good to hear. See you on Wednesday then. As I approach Reinhold Manor with a single letter in my sachet, I notice yet more commotion going on in the field. Gerhard is under fire again. I had a feeling. This man really just attracts trouble, doesn't he? Poor guy. Gerhard is under fire again, mumbling non-defenses while a young man verbally accosts him. I've not seen this guy before. I think something maternal has gone off in my system, because all of a sudden I'm speeding right to the scene. Blame genetics, I suppose. Well, the thing is, you won't... What voice should I give you? I don't know you yet. Except Hey, just listen, alright? All I'm asking you is... I have a feeling that this is kind of the wrong tone. I don't think he was bullying him. Didn't sound like it. Stop it! Once I reached the altercation, I realized this mystery man is quite a lot taller than me. I don't really know what to do, so I sort of... What? Elfriede, what are you doing? I don't think the poor guy deserved that. I made a fist and then sort of panic and thump him in the back of the head. How did you even manage to go there? How did you reach? It wasn't particularly graceful. I've let myself down. Poor guy. What the hell are you playing at? Get away! What are you doing? You aren't helping anyone. Yes, I'm aware of that, but I am trying. Christ, why is everyone in this town so hostile to a little bit of publicity? What? Try not to hit me again when I tell you. I'm reporting on the home front. Ah, Gottfried Rahn. My name's Rahn, Gottfried Rahn. I'm trying to get civilian accounts of the war at home. Then I'm supposed to paint some war workers. But as soon as I start talking what these fields are for, this guy is looking at me like I killed his entire family. Oh, that's just Gerhard? He has its reasons, presumably. Friede, I don't need you to defend me. Considering that's the longest complete sentence you have treated me to, I'm not so sure about that, chum. Then turns to glare at me once more. Anyway, quite aside from that, it doesn't have proceedings when you come wading in, bringing grievous bodily harm to the equation. It was technically your head? Grievous head harm doesn't have the same ring to it though, does it? And how is it that? Don't bring semantics into this, my point stands. I'm sorry I overreacted. But you really looked like you were causing trouble. I don't want to cast aspersions, but did you see the big bad traveler strolling around the streets and think some sort of invasion was coming? That didn't enter into it. I couldn't see you from behind. Right, so you nevertheless just go around wrecking any and all newcomers in the head. Good to know. Gerhard has a lot of problems with a lot of people in the past few weeks. I really thought this was more of that. Again, I'm sorry. No, it's fine. I'm sorry too. I was just rather taken aback to have my lovely skull so brazenly assaulted mid-conversation. Well, you didn't exactly do anything wrong, dude. You just had You were just very unlucky to deal with this situation. Mr. Rahn turns to Gerhard, who shrinks away and fixes his gaze on the ground, apparently pretending he sees something very interesting in the grass. And I'm sorry if I came across as aggressive. I was trying to learn a bit about your life, for my work, but if it's a touchy subject, then I understand. Gerhard is hesitant, but after we stare at him for a good few seconds, he realizes he cannot pretend he didn't hear the words of a man standing 4 feet away. Alright, don't worry about it. And I'm technically a government employee, you know. I don't think the people paying my salary would be very happy if I turned in a propaganda report on the work of cowards. Uh-oh. I'm not a coward. As you can imagine, that's it for Gerhard. He stumbles away at high speed, nearly braining himself as he turns the corner a little bit too tightly. No, I didn't mean to... He's gone. You really might have failed to judge the level of conversational tact required here. Oh, what? As opposed to your signature debating technique, fist? My punch came from caring too much. Your folks' past come from caring too little. There's a world of difference. I didn't think it would be that problematic. Coward, known, a fellow scared of the war. Surely? I thought it was accepted vernacular. Not when talking to the cowards in question. Well, in hindsight it's always 2020. But your foresight should be higher than 00. Smooth, very smooth. Why is it even so offensive? Coward. I'm a coward, so what? He ruffles his coat and sniffs at as he says that. As if it was the most natural thing in the world. How can he be so open about that? Judging by Gerhard, that seemed like an incredible feat. Or perhaps Gerhard's just ill-equipped for having to take a stand on something for the first time in his life. You're a coward? Yeah, I'm a coward. I don't want to go anywhere near that wall. You want to make a scene? I'll give you 2 cauliflower ears and we can put the matter behind us. Just to clarify, that's the sort of standard response I have prepared, rather than a direct challenge, miss. It is really primarily directed at any hypothetical big blokes in the vicinity. Good, I do technically have a knife on me, you know? So I would keep the threats to the hypothetical big blokes, unless you want this cut and thrust to get a great deal more literal. Hey, Wolf's ridiculous knife actually came in handy for something. That was a rewarding, emotional journey, thanks Wolf. A live one, fantastic, marry me. Okay. I have the feeling Elfriede wouldn't say okay. Even if it's obviously a joke. So is this a hilarious joke? Yes. I am, of course, kidding. I do like you a lot though, let's get lunch. Hang on! How do you even know I'm... No engagement ring. Any gentleman friend worth his salt will propose before shipping off, and judging by the rest of this conversation, you're hardly going to be seeing some damnable homefront chicken. If you are available for a late lunch though, I can certainly try my hardest to change your mind on that last point. This man is incredibly forward all of a sudden. I would say it was childish, except I can't think of any children who would misuse a basic degree of analytical skills quite so rampantly. Alright, I'll level with you. I think you could help me a lot with my work. And I can tell you're interested in what specifically my work even is. What I'm trying to say is, this lunch is happening, right? Okay, he was joking, he says. Whoopsie daisy. Would he have been joking if I'd left it a chance? Well, in any case, I don't have anything to do this afternoon. I was going to write back to August, but it won't be dispatched until tomorrow anyway. And I am interested in how a coward like him is working in propaganda. Fine, sounds good. Wonderful news. Where's good around here? He smiles broadly. He didn't consider for a second that wouldn't be my answer. What might I have signed myself up for here? Before leaving, I gave Mrs. Reinhold her letter and she was overjoyed. Eugen is fine and well, and she immediately got far too emotional for a bystander to easily escape from, so I got up there as quickly as I could. I was well aware, and only slightly ruining the fact, that this ludicrous man was waiting for me outside. I remembered that they did food at the Kaiser's Arms, simple stuff. Now the publicans on the front lines, but nice enough. I'd already eaten, so I just got a glass of water. Mr. An got soup. I'm a little surprised. That's a rather fine coat he's wearing, but it seems he might live more thriftively than one would think. So, introductions? Yes, it runs with me that I don't even know your name. What can I call you, miss? Elfriede, as you can probably tell, I work at a post office here. Yes, indeed. That's why I thought you would be of help. That's what I'm wondering about. Help with what, precisely? You're some kind of journalist? Right on the nose. Kind of. I'm a journalist in civilian life, a photojournalist to be precise. So you get it on the nose, but it was the nose of the person next to me. And it was a differently shaped nose than you thought. And you didn't land a thumb so much as scrape it. Ultimately, points for effort. No, Gottfried Rahn, war artist at your service. It's my job to tour around and chronicle various wartime scenes, usually my vibrant watercolors here. That's nice not to be lodging all my photographic equipment around for this one. And as I mentioned earlier, I am a government employee. My work is exclusively used to bolster civilian morale. Well, I say used, it's very early days yet. And you're on Washback to paint the home front? Yep, my interviews with Mr. Lear and, not to beat around the bush with you right now, are in the name of preliminary research. I'm hoping to pin down the best representation of whistling war walkers pitching in. That's best representation in the sense of most accurate, of course, but also most picturesque and most inspirational. And if I'm speaking totally candidly and secretively and off the record and whatnot, the latter two categories hold a lot of great deal more sway than the former. Why would you tell me that? Well, it's journalism. War journalism, propaganda. So I kind of figured. Because you're not going to rat me out, I can read people. Thanks for the confidentiality, by the way. Clearly we understand one another on a deep spiritual level. You're welcome, but you might want to think about more extensive screening to that deep spiritual level. Anyway, what kind of things are you supposed to be painting? Do you have a particular remit? Landscapes. I'm here to do landscapes. Don't get me wrong, my portrait hand is excellent. 10 out of 10. Excellior. However, much as I would like to bring my gift to the War Office, particularly if we're talking about depicting certain striking young postal workers in full oil paints, it is not to be. And therein lies a rather weighty problem for me. Are landscapes not your specialty? I would confidently say that landscapes are not my specialty. To put it another way, I stink. I can see an issue beginning to take root then, yes? How did you get hired if it's so reliant on... My portrait got me accepted in the first place, but then I just got chucked an assignment at random. And lo and behold, bloody landscapes. Somehow I can imagine that very well. Hang on, I thought you said you wanted to be as far from the war as possible. That you were a coward and all that. Why did you join up with anyone? I mean, surely making propaganda is taking a pretty active role. But you don't necessarily risk your life with it, so... Aha! Smarts as well as beauty, I am in heaven. Very glad you asked. You see, my disdain for /fear of armed combat could hardly be more relevant. The war artist position constituted phase 1, which admittedly was the singular phase, of the Gottfried Rahn Great War Avoidance Scheme. Plan. Plan sounds less sinister. So you mean... War artists are far from expected to take an active role in fighting. It's practically a protected trade. I know whistling isn't conscripting yet, but you really can't be too careful. I mean, this is technically enlisting, but in the most obscure non-combat outfit I can imagine. I'm technically private run of the artisty crops, you know. Hopefully it's just baseless worry, but I have a sinking feeling regarding the speedy resolution of this conflict, and I really wanted to ensure my place far away from the front lines while I could. Considering that you're putting in postal workers on the front, I have a feeling that your plan might not be successful. I assume the government must have realized that if you kill all your propagandists, then you do sort of not have any propaganda. That's actually quite clever, if a little pessimistic. You're hiding in the eye of the hurricane, precisely. So you think it's possible we could be headed towards conscription? Leyland and Levasseur are less modern than us, but still the most developed nations we've ever clashed with by a long way. Honestly, who knows how long this could last? Come on, the war will be through by spring. No. We can hope, but they used to say it would be Christmas. So not to be morbid, but I try not to dwell on the awful reality of Han's prediction coming to pass. So it means quite a lot to master the landscapes then? Yes, so increasingly less so. I'm only in Boschberg for one day. Tomorrow I'm heading to the front. What? After everything I thought your whole plan was not to. I am painfully aware of the inconsistencies with my grand plan, but I must remind you, my fate is with the War Office. You know my official title currently? Battlefield Artist. So by landscapes you meant battlefields. The job advertisement promises the painting of the home front were far from realized, and the majority of artistry corps enlistees are being stationed in the trenches. Apparently that's where they want us the most now. I figured. Essentially what I'm trying to say is, this has actually gone very badly for me. And considering that we are not actually conscripting, it could be theorized that your war avoidance plan has fallen flat on its face and exploded, yes. How the hell am I supposed to get inspirational picturesque scenes of a battlefield? You can make it depressing ones. How am I even supposed to get near a battlefield without getting shot at? My express plan was not to get shot at, but here I am, sticking my hand up and saying, Gottfried Ranzers, we're ready to be shot at. But you are asking everyone about the home front. I'm trying to make the best of my time here. I reasoned that if I could capture the most perfect propaganda-tacular depictions of the war at home, they would realize that I was wasted in the trenches. I mean, if that's my logic, I can even slip in some portraits so they will realize my true forte. Tell me to paint some generals instead and that's me out of the war. That's the plan anyway. We'll see how easy it is to follow. And you're going tomorrow? How long are you there for, indefinitely? Oh, I'm not going up properly for a week or so. Tomorrow is only a one-day expedition to scout some locations. Then I'm supposed to come back here, formulate some ideas, by which I mean paint war workers like clappers, and head straight to the Nestle Inn and wait for the grand old battle to try not to die in. I mean, paint. A friend of mine told me that a great deal of fatalities in the war come from something about the failure of gentlemanly etiquette. I'm sure that if you train yourself as a soldier, you can avoid any serious harm. Not to be rude, but who the hell told you that? Look, I'm not really supposed to say any of this, but battalions are dropping like flies at the moment. We're 6 months in now. It's still a stalemate overall, but there's been a good few skirmishes, and the trenches are dangerous places to conduct daily life. The casualties are really starting to rack up. It's nothing too major yet. If the war were to end tomorrow, a good journalistic campaign could paint them as heroes, and popular opinion would be fine. But the figures are really becoming something not to be sneezed at. That can't be. That's not true. Why are you telling me this? Again. Like all beautiful women one meets in pubs, I can tell you're trustworthy as can be. Anything else would be false advertisement, surely. And it's good to be able to vent this after so long. The truth is, I'm not entirely sure what's going on. I think things could still be alright. Might all end in a week from now on, and Boschberg's men will be walking the streets again like nothing ever happened. But nobody knows for sure. Every word Gottfried speaks is like a punch to the gut. Is this what's been going on all this time? Was August lying when he... I don't want to hear anymore, I can't. I've just realized that Gottfried's been talking on for a minute or two, and all I can do is stare blankly at this disgusting yellowed old pub wallpaper. I've traced the same pattern with my eyes 30 times. I feel hot, very hot, and I'm starting to feel very faint indeed. I could reach for my emergency biscuits, but I know this isn't a blood sugar issue. It's never a blood sugar issue when you want it to be. I'm going to say it. I don't know what's come over me or why I'm going to say it, but I'm going to. I'm going to say it. I'm coming with you. And furthermore... wait, what? Tomorrow? You're visiting the trenches. I'm going with you. Well, I'm flattered, but I can hardly let a woman like yourself come to such a sordid... I'm strongly considering taking a job as a field post woman, and if I'm to do that, then it will practically be a daily occurrence. Letting me visit tomorrow is actually the safest course of action, and that I can judge whether it's good for me or not. Oh, I see you had that one ready to go. Okay, compelling logic indeed. Aren't you needed at the post office? I've been put in charge tomorrow. I'm not going in. There's a stack of letters from the front that have to go out, but I will take them around this evening instead. Special delivery. I can manage it. Alright, concern number 2 dispelled. Final objection. I'm not entirely sure the trenches have visiting hours. Smuggle me in, I don't care. I'm not a soldier. Army protocol is irrelevant to me. Highly inaccurate, but well put. Well, it's probably 50-50 that I'm dead man anyway, so I'm sure I can throw a little more adventure and intrigue into my story before it's concluded for me by some trigger-happy Lalandian bastard. Consider yourself hired. I can pay you, and you can't really help me with work. I'll rephrase, consider yourself coming to a trench. Oh, and don't worry about our interview, you should spend today preparing yourself. So you get to choose which part of the front you go to? I'm meeting with a chap tomorrow who's taking me to his trench off the line. It's in Factory Row, I believe. I've actually heard of Factory Row from the letters. Apparently there's a factory or two nearby, hence the name. But the fact that August has even mentioned it must mean that it's near to Windmill Corner, where they are. Yes, that's precisely where I would like to go. Do you think he'll be able to locate a specific segment for me? I'm sure you can ask. Serendipity may be on your side. This is actually happening, right? I believe so, unless you have a change of thought. I wonder if this plan is, broadly speaking, ill-advised. But I don't have a choice. I need to confirm whether Gottfried's words have an ounce of truth in them. Gottfried? I think. Yeah, thank you for everything today. Hey now, don't give me this tearful last goodbye, Stick. This is literally our first goodbye. And I'm seeing you again tomorrow morning. Right, sorry. No worries anyway, glad I could help. You should probably get on that pile of post, no? Then get your stuff ready and meet me at the station at 6 in the morning, if you can manage it. I've been working a post road. I can most certainly manage being up and ready by 6. Good point, see you then. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't stop thinking about what I was going to do tomorrow. It didn't feel real. I must have slept for an hour? An hour and a half? Not very long in any case. Tomorrow I was going to the trenches. And if I could locate Windmill Corner as easily as I hoped I could, I was going to see August, and Eugen, and Wolf, and everyone. It didn't feel real last night, and it still doesn't. I wrote a big long letter back to August and the man. I packed it, and with a small bag of food and a couple of tiny presents, I'm currently on my way to this train station. I feel unreal. Like it's a dream. But I can't pinch myself hard enough, with fingers alone. I need an industrial voice. Voice? I need an industrial vice. As tends to happen, time marches on, and it is a confirmed fact that by midday today, I will be at the front lines. Elfriede, right on time. Ready to go? Yes, indeed, is all well. Yeah, I'm sorry that I went a bit funny yesterday. Don't worry about it, as long as you're a bit more collected now. Yes, I would say so. Fantastic. On an unrelated note, I happened to return to that pub yesterday evening for a little nightcap, and in passing I mentioned our odyssey to a gentleman I struck up a conversation with. Was it Helmut? Gottfried points behind me, indicating a new arrival hobbling through the station's big iron gates. And here he comes now. Yep, Helmut. Elfriede, I'm so glad I could catch you. Helmut, hello. You said you knew one another. Helmut, you really didn't have to come all the way here, especially so early. Nonsense. I wouldn't have missed the chance to see you off, Elfriede. And, I must say, I was most taken aback to hear that you were heading to the trenches. I know, I can barely believe it myself. And I have a bone to pick with you. Why didn't you tell me? Sorry. Even if only for a day, the things I would give to be in your place right now. Alas, I'm nowhere even approaching the soldier I would like to be. I fear that, at this stage, my presence would be embarrassing at most. Embarrassing, and if what Gottfried told me is true, potentially more than a little dangerous to his health. But I am not bitter. I wish you the best of luck, Elfriede. The boys at the front may be taking the fight to the enemy, but you'll be doing your best to show them that we are on the home front are holding our own, eh? The faint, undeniable forced smile on Helmut's face is breaking my heart. It seems that his best efforts to feel pride in his work are still in vain. I imagine that you'll still be a witness to some stirring sights today, sights bound to stay with you well into later life, as a jewel in the crown of your wartime memories. Is that a good, I wouldn't call PTSD that. A jewel in the crown of your wartime memories. Oh no. Oh no, oh no. Memories I can only hope that you will share with me. No reason to object? Absolutely. Of course. And I feel a bit excited to tell the truth. I'm finally going to be filling in a lot of my mental blanks today. Well, it goes without saying that I shall be very interested in hearing any and all tales of French life when you return. That's a given. You're kind of treating this like a class trip. By hearing, I do mean discussions for weeks on end. That's a given. Godspeed, Miss Rouse. I fondly look forward to the day we meet again. You mean tomorrow? Yes, me too. Good luck. Right, shall we depart, Gottfried? Hang on. Seems you're popular, Elfriede. I recognize the gentleman over there too. Gerhard? Is Gerhard also saying goodbye? Elfriede really is super popular, man. Holy crap. Almost surprised that everyone didn't try to propose to her. I turn quickly and Helmut turns as quickly as he can to see half a face poking out from the railway arches. He hastily retreats, but I've already clocked him. Gerhard? Nothing. Come out, Gerhard. Gerhard slowly and sheepishly emerges from the arch and slides over. His hands are in his pockets. Is he really trying to appear nonchalant about this? At this late stage in the proceedings? Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Gerhard? You just happened to take a casual 6 o'clock stroll down the train station. Shut up. I'm joking. I can't understand Elfriede having as many admirers as she does. It makes sense. Admirers? I am not an admirer. Always the flatterer. Oh, sorry. How do you know her? Gerhard's eyes widen in horror at this question. I get the impression that I'm probably going to have to chip in here. Come on, let's call ourselves friends. Friends? Yeah, I would say so. I know you're kind of a struggle for them at the moment, but you know I'll never stab you on the back, Gerhard. That probably constitutes a friend at a time like this, wouldn't you say? Well, I sort of sensed that, and I'm glad I wasn't mistaken. Thank you, it means a lot right now. I can imagine. Poor dude. Anyway, I came to say good luck. Thanks. And don't drop your guard. These ranches are dangerous, you know that? Dangerous as all hell. I get the impression that you've spent more time thinking about it than most people around here have. Most likely. And you're important to the town, you know. To all of us. Gerhard? We've still not spoken too much, you know. We don't need to. When I see you out and about, I know you're trying your hardest. It's important for people to see things like that. I know that raising morale is only going to give people the strength to come crashing down onto me, but that is a small matter. Strangely perceptive for Gerhard. It's really striking to see him talking so frankly about everything. Gerhard, are you dying? What? No, I was just... Gerhard, you know that if you're dying, you can tell us. I'm not dying. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. And I'll be fine, don't worry. Mr. Lear, there's no doubt in my mind that you are a good man. I implore you to reconsider my offer on enlistment in the Boschberg Home Guard. The hours can be tailored to account for your employment in the fields. I don't work in the fields. What? Gerhard, you got the sack? Mrs. Reinhold would do that? No, I don't think she was my biggest fan, but I didn't get the sack. I left. I've had enough of it. I've saved enough that I shouldn't have to venture past my front door again. Not until this whole horrible business is over and done with anyway. Gerhard's becoming a shut-in? Is he honestly going to sit in his house and wait for the war to end? That's tragic. But I'm sure he knows better than I do what happens to him outside. Maybe it is for the best. I don't really have a better solution for him right now, so... Maybe a more secluded work that isn't so out in the open. Well, the home van really did a great deal to elevate certain struggles I was having. I'm sure that in your current position, an activity with such therapeutic properties could be useful. Thank you, but no. Very well, then I shall know more on this matter. Ran, are we about ready to depart? A heavy-set man with tired eyes approaches and claps Gottfried on the shoulder. He wears a Wesleyan uniform with the distinctive medic armband proudly adorning his sleeve. Ah, Private Sauer. Sauer. Elfriede, this is the man I was telling you about. He is from Factory Row. Mario Sauer. And I think this is also where we can end the episode for today. Then I guess next time we will then talk with Mr. Sauer here and get on the train. So until then, bye!